speaking of Dave, with he's got Mrs. Spray Tan in his hair these days. So here I wrote a tale of two Meltzers. Now I realized hours later, AEW Neckbeards tweeted out a tale of two Daves, and Raj Giri tweeted out a tale of two tweets. So we were all on the same wavelength. I didn't mean to steal his joke. But either way, I put it out here, a tale of two Meltzers. So here's what he does with the ratings, and this is what drives everybody nuts. So NXT, he goes, NXT did 895,000, 0.26 last night. Premiere usually is, actually much higher than the show settles in at. Brian, week 3 to 4 is when you really get a better feel for it, right? So wasn't there a vice presidential debate going on that night and like a baseball playoffs and everything? So he doesn't say. And then this Dynamite 5-year anniversary, which I will say wasn't that good. I like they were in a smaller building and the building was well lit. I thought aesthetically the production of it was nice for once. They were able to film around the whole building. I thought that was good for once. But yeah, I think they dropped the ball on a few things. But Dave Meltzer goes, AEW did 680K and a .20. Going 30 plus minutes long hurt, plus 2 baseball playoff games and larger than usual news ratings. So he doesn't even bring up the whole ass vice presidential debate, but he brings up higher than usual news ratings, bro. Insane, man. What do you make of Dave when he does shit like this?
Dave Meltzer is biased, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think fair is the most word in the dictionary. I don't give a about being fair. Maybe it's because I'm a black kid who grew up in the suburbs, and I'm not saying I had a bad childhood. It's the opposite. I had a great childhood. I grew up with a great childhood. My parents are all educated. They gave me all the childhood I could want and more. I had great resources. What was unfair about it is I would look around and I'd say, where are all the other black kids who are having a great childhood like me? And I learned at an early age, we're the family that are the glitch in the matrix. Yeah. Like, the reason we're the only black family having a good childhood is because it's not normal for black people to have this good childhood. Like, most black families are in situations where they're in America, they don't have the resources that most other families have, and they're in broken households and whatnot. We're the glitch in the matrix. So I learned at an early age that life's not fair. So I've never given up about fair. Dave Meltzer is not fair, and there's nothing wrong with that. What I have a problem with is this perception that Dave Meltzer tries desperately, failingly to put out that I'm not in the tank for anybody, when everybody knows he values New Japan matches more than he does WWE matches. Yeah. He'll give 5-star matches to AEW match, whatever that means, more than WWE. He is definitely in the tank from Tony Khan. Tony Khan, as I've said many times, he learned from Dave Meltzer. He used to be a junior correspondent for the Wrestling Observer newsletter, which is like being the editor of the school paper and the school shooter. So Tony Khan learned from Dave Meltzer. Tony Khan's style of wrestling reflects what Dave Meltzer likes. So, of course, Dave Meltzer is going to be partial to that. It shows in the tale of two Meltzers. He's very, very biased toward AEW. And everybody knows it. Everybody's going to call him out on it. And so if you want to say, Alfred, you criticize AEW more than you do WWE. Yep. I think AEW sucks right now. I'm not going to say something nice about AEW just because I said something mean about WWE, or say something nice about AEW just because I said something mean about them, or just because I said something nice about WWE. I'm going to criticize AEW because it sucks right now, similar to my dynamic with Marvel and DC. I'm a comic book guy. I grew up reading Batman comic books. Those are my favorite comic books. So essentially, I'm kind of a DC guy. But the MCU and that Marvel Cinematic Universe, that golden run that they did with the Civil Wars, some of the greatest cinema I've ever seen. Yep. Batman versus Superman, on the other hand, sucked. The Joker 2 sucked. So I'm going to criticize DC more than I criticize Marvel, but I'm going to watch both. So, yes, I am anti-AEW from the standpoint that the product sucks right now, and I'm going to call him out.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
You know that already.
But how entertaining is that Brian Alvarez, Dave Meltzer divorce? Like, oh my God, I cannot wait. I'm doing a piece about it right now, about this divorce and all these arguments that they've been having. And Brian Alvarez is just like this, the younger wife who her 60-year-old husband that she married for money is starting to piss her off. And so they're going for a divorce, and it's going to be ugly.
Me and you got to like recreate their arguments, where I'm like doing Dave and you're doing Brian, or the other way. Brian, that's the funniest thing ever. Dude, and what else did he say? He said Sol Ruka versus, I think, Kalani Jordan was a gymnastics routine, whatever. And then he's like 2 stars or whatever he gave it. And then he gave Osprey and Ricochet from last night, or from Wednesday, pardon me, Time Cop. He gave it like 5 stars or 4.5 stars or something like that. Not that his stars matter, but it just like, how is the Ricochet Will Osprey match not choreographed gymnastics too? It's just crazy. Like
Dave just likes male gymnastics more than he likes women's gymnastics. That's all there is to it. It's like, of course they're going to say, oh, they just did moves and they just did flips, and then you see Ricochet and Will Ospreay for no reason at all, with no story, in one of both these guys' matches, doing all these flips, and somehow, because I guess their flips had more testosterone in them, Dave Meltzer decided that was a better rating.
And the only flips he likes more than male gymnastics is mental gymnastics, because that's so here. But just speaking of people getting mad at you and stuff like that, you were included in this crazy. So we do this segment, right, called the Sickos. So this is the IWC Sickos. And one of them made a video about, you were in it, like featured heavily. This is AEW Defender presents You Were Wrong, I guess, Alfred. So let's see it.
Let's get it.
Baphomet, always a good sign. We see the Baphomet for sure. He's a good dude. No.
Oh, yeah.
The insignificance of man cannot be overstated. And when the things he deems important vanish before his very eyes, and vanity comes face to face with mortal.
Oh, there you are, dude, with the goat.
Let me tell you something. I take exception. Is my Twitter handle on there? It's like I always say what you want about me, spell my name right. Is my Twitter handle on there? Are they going to know to subscribe to Swahili?
Yes, the play button is blocking it, but at This Is Nasty, he included it in there and gave you the rub, dude.
Look at me, I'm with Bret Hart, all that credibility. Love it. Look at that cardigan, by the way. That cardigan.
Yeah, how they look at all these pictures, they see you with Bret Hart, right? They see all like Fat Jericho, chicken suit. You're with Bret Hart. How the fuck are they mad at you, dude? Come on,
who's that? Who's that?
The next
to face with mortality.
JD from NY.
Oh, I didn't recognize him without the clan robes on. Okay, keep going.
Those who do not evolve will find themselves disconnected from the network. So in the year of Money 2020, as Mach 2 approaches.
Yeah, Awful Wrestling came on my live show on Wednesday, and he was like, yep, I was wrong. He's like, I got till 2027, then this gig is up.
Exactly.
I was like, at least he admits it, bro. You know, he's consistent. It's funny.
Remember one thing. We told you so.
We're right. You're wrong. We're right.
So yeah, he's just rubbing it in, and then he's got more. He's got. I think he shows another one of your thumbnails, but you're grouped into here. What do you make all this, Alfred?
I absolutely love it. I think tribalism is great for pro wrestling. As again, I'm going to develop a following no matter what. There's I was with Bleacher Report. Forbes saw what I was doing. I went to Forbes. Then between you and me, which is funny because we're on this podcast and I keep saying that ironically, like there were things that I wanted to say that I knew I couldn't say in a Forbes article. So I created Pro Wrestling Bits so that you can get Unfiltered Alfie, and Unfiltered Alfie's on his way to 30,000. I love tribalism. People pretend like I hate the terrible wrestling discourse. I hate when people are fighting. Just enjoy wrestling. And it's like, no, you just enjoy wrestling. You go out and go listen to people who don't want to make fun of whatever and be boring. You enjoy wrestling, quote unquote. The way some people enjoy wrestling is is going after each other. It's the similar dynamic. It reminds me, it's more like being a sports fan when there's a tribal element to pro wrestling discourse. Mm-hmm. I love my Green Bay Packers. I hate the Chicago Bears. Do I want the Chicago Bears to go out of business? When the Chicago Bears build a new stadium, are they rubbing it in my face? Like, I told you the Chicago Bears were going to be here to stay. The Chicago Bears aren't going anywhere. It's like, you think I'm rooting for the Bears to go out of business? No. The most satisfying Green Bay Packer win of my lifetime. Aaron Rodgers goes into Soldier Field and he beats the Chicago Bears in the NFC Championship to go to the Super Bowl. And you see all these crying Bears fans. You see Jake Cutler in his Yoda robe. It was the most satisfying win for the Green Bay Packers I've ever seen in my life. We needed tribalism for that to happen. So the fact that there's this versus that, Marvel needs a DC.
Yeah.
Pepsi needs a Coke. So does Tony Khan from time to time, from what I've heard. I love tribalism. I could not wait. I was like itching. That's why I was so antsy that it took so long for AEW to announce this TV deal. Is this discourse online of people saying, I told you, you told me, and me making content and having all this content ready and it's doing record numbers? I love it. I friggin' love it.
I love it too, man. And I quote you all the time on the show when it comes to the tribalist stuff. You said once on my show, you're like, dude, what set you're repping? Like, that's what life is all about. And I quote you all the time with that. That's what it boils down to, man. What set are you repping? That's what life is. We're tribalistic by nature. So he included one of your tweets here that says, don't laugh at these AEW to Tubi memes until we hear of WBD re-signing AEW. That may be a real possibility, especially if you've been studying AEW's recent ticket sales. Barf emoji. So it's not like you were wrong in saying that then. And then because like a report came out too not long ago about like, yeah, AEW could put something on Tubi. So you're actually spot on with that take, but he included that tweet of yours in this video. Do you want to defend it or anything, or you just whatever?
I mean, there's nothing wrong about that tweet. And again, I say until we hear of WBD re-signing, which is going on the assumption we are going to hear of that. Also, WBD or Fox is most likely, we are hearing that there's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be called Shockwave or whatnot, that is going to be doing business with Fox. Is that going to be Fox proper? Is that going to be Fox Sports? Tubi is owned by Fox. Yeah, so Tubi. I don't know what that means for AEW. But I'm very proud of that tweet. I'm very proud of all my tweets. And I was saying that until we hear of AEW re-signing, which is, again, at the time I wrote that, I probably had this video in the tank. Like almost immediately when that news came out, I dropped a video that I've had for months that I have to keep updating about AEW signing. What does it mean? And I will say one of my biggest videos of the year was a preview of what does AEW's new TV deal looks like. So I've been covering, I write for the business of pro wrestling, I cover when it comes to the money in pro wrestling, and the biggest business story of this year is AEW's TV deal. And you knew, based on how weak WBD is, based on how bad of a businessman David Zaslav is, he is in a position where he needs AEW because compared to the other programming they do, the 18 to 49s are pretty solid. And it's funny, people call Tony Khan a money mark. Never have I ever called Tony Khan a money mark. I don't think he's a good booker. I do think he's a weak man who gets taken advantage of in wrestling. I don't think that he knows how to put on a good, consistent wrestling product. I think he's a better wrestling fan than he is a wrestling authority figure. But I will say, the money mark is David Zaslav. Like, he's looking at AEW the same way he looked at CNN Plus and is putting all this money into what I think is going to be, at best, a mediocre product. Yeah. Like, what they need is a Paul Heyman. What they need is a creative force. And until they get that, David Zaslav, I think, is the one who's getting taken advantage of.
Well, you won't call him it, but I'll call you a money mark.
The best guy's Tony Khan.
So, here we go. WWF counselor, man, taking up for you. And he goes, Phil clearly doesn't read or watch This Is Nasty's work. He falls for the racist narratives his peers and AEW freakazoids on here have of Alfred in defense of AEW. So here is Phil Lindsay, Phil DL. Not a good Phil. I am the superior Phil in the IW.
So we even have Phil tribalism in this house.
Bro, yes. There's Phil Wars. It's going down.
Phil Wars.
Yeah, just in time for the streaming wars, just like South Park, right? It's happening in wrestling. Hilarious. But anyways, Phil DL taking bunch of L's. Phil with a couple extra L's. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Phil Wars going down right now. I'm starting shit. What's up? Anyways, he goes, honestly, Alfred has done more harm in discussions around diversity and race in pro wrestling than anyone. He sensationalizes these topics and uses them as a punchline in biased videos that are neither in-depth nor constructive. Dude, he's never watched your... Anyways, it's blatantly obvious that he does it for clicks. Yeah, that's what social media is, Phil. That's what the game is all about. What are you talking about? You posted that for clicks. What are you talking about? Anyways, he goes on to say, that may seem harsh, but I legitimately don't like it. It bothers me because there's a way to do this with tact and sincerity. That's not what he does, though. Personally, that guy, I think your videos are well thought out. You put more creativity and effort into your Alfred than 99% of the people in this space. I'll just say that. Yeah. I'm not just blowing smoke either. You go ahead now. What's your response to Phil here?
I do a lot of things on this app. I'm very charismatic. You have to be willing to attract as much as you repel. Sometimes they're the same thing. A lot of people respond to the content I make with love. A lot of people respond to the content I make with anger. And to me, it all spends the same and it's all the same thing. And all I'm going to say is I'm on my way to 30,000 subscribers. When I was at 20,000 subscribers, which is a couple of months ago, earlier this summer, I put out a PSA because of how dangerous I've been told my wrestling channel is. I put out a PSA that said, do not subscribe to Pro Wrestling Bits. I said explicitly, I hired a professional voiceover guy to do an attack ad on my channel. At 20,000 subscribers, I said, enough is enough. This channel's too dangerous. So I had the guy say, do not subscribe to Pro Wrestling Bits. A couple months later, 10,000 subscribers later, they're not listening, okay? They're still subscribing to Pro Wrestling Bits. I'm still doing viral videos. So at 30,000 subscribers, I am going to put out another PSA, doubling down on the begging notion. Do not subscribe. I'm going to put out another one, okay? What I don't do on this app is fight with other black people. I will never, I know the wrestling media loves when black people fight with each other. I will never, I'm not that guy. But what I'm going to do as the king of black wrestling media is I'm going to put out another PSA saying, do not subscribe to Pro Wrestling Bits. I'm going to put out another one, okay? And if I get 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, I'm going to keep putting these PSAs out because one of these days, one of these days they're gonna see me saying don't subscribe, and I don't know if they're gonna listen to me or not. But I'm doing my part. I tried between you and me. I tried donating all of my clicks to the NAACP, and I'm doing everything I can. Okay, so I'm gonna put out another PSA telling people not to subscribe to Pro Wrestling Bits, and we'll see how it works, man. I'm doing all that I can.
Wait for that, brother. Yeah, I just saw that floating around, and I love that you come on and just address this stuff head on, man. And yeah, that's why
I'm telling you, man. I try to tell people not to subscribe to Pro Wrestling Bits, and 10,000 subscribers in a summer. It's ridiculous.
I know, bro. Since like the last time you came on, I swear to God,